Picture this. You walk into a store and there are two identical shirts hanging right next to each other on the rack, but they have two completely different price tags. For a local resident, the shirt costs $50. But for you, the exact same shirt costs $100, purely because of where you were born.
Now, this isn't just some made-up scenario. This is exactly what's playing out right now for many Singaporeans looking across the border at Malaysian real estate. A 1.5 million ringgit condo might look like an absolute steal when you convert it back to Singapore dollars, but you are actually paying a massive premium simply based on your nationality.
So here is the core problem. Buyers see a weak ringgit and immediately assume they're bagging a bargain, but they're essentially shopping in a completely different lane than the locals. You think you're getting this massive discount, but here's the catch. You might actually be walking into a carefully constructed financial maze, one that's designed to charge you more at literally every turn. So, in this explainer, we're going to map out the hidden math and the true total costs of cross-border real estate. That way, you can spot a genuine investment opportunity versus a shiny trap. Let's dive in. The very first hurdle is what we can call the foreign buyer's tax wall. According to a May 2026 report by the Business Times, the flat stamp duty on residential property transfers for non-citizens actually doubled to 8%. Think of stamp duty like a massively overpriced entry ticket to a theme park. For a 1.5 million ringgit home, a Malaysian citizen pays about 44,000 in tiered rates. But a foreign buyer, you're handed a bill for 120,000 ringgit. You are significantly in the hole before you even turn the key in the lock. And unfortunately, the costs don't just stop at the front door. Property law expert George Miranda points out that once you tack on state consent fees, legal charges, and registration, your total acquisition cost jumps by another 8 to 11%. So that 1.5 million ringgit condo, it just became a 1.6 million outlay. It's exactly like buying a brand new car, only to find out the engine, the steering wheel, and the tires are all sold separately. And honestly, this next part changes everything. Look at this chain reaction of fees that essentially traps you. Because real estate isn't just about the cost of getting in, it is heavily about the cost of getting out. If you decide to sell that property within the first 5 years, you get hit with a 30% real property gains tax on your profit. Let's break down the painful math on this. Say you actually make a 300,000 ringgit gain on your sale. Well, the government takes 90,000 of that right off the top. Combine that with your initial entry stamp duty, and you are in a 210,000 ringgit hole before you've even paid a single cent to your real estate agent. Meanwhile, just to put that into perspective, Malaysians pay zero real property gains tax after holding a property for 5 years. So, what does this all mean? It brings us to an absolutely crucial insight: understanding your exit liquidity. Imagine you own a super rare $1,000 trading card, but you live in a neighborhood where everyone only has $10 to spend. You might technically own a highly valuable asset, but you simply cannot sell it to anyone around you without severely slashing the price. And here is exactly why you might get stuck holding the bag. Based on data from Faisal Ridzuan of Far Capital, locals are typically buying homes around the 400,000 ringgit mark. But you had to buy at 1 million or more just to meet the strict foreign entry thresholds. So when it's time to sell, the massive local pool of buyers simply can't afford your asking price. And your potential foreign buyer, pal? Well, as 2025 data shows, it's a microscopic 1% of the market. This is where so many people get it totally wrong. Currency conversion is not investment analysis. To actually monetize this market, you need a critical skill called local market validation. You shouldn't be asking what a property costs in your home currency. You need to ask, what can a local Colombo lumper school teacher or office manager actually afford to pay for this? If that gap is too wide, you aren't buying an asset, you're buying a premium you will likely never recover. So how do we actually build a winning strategy here? Smart investors look completely past those shiny, overpriced towers, and they focus heavily on market fundamentals. For instance, looking ahead to January 2027, the upcoming rapid transit system link in Johor Bahru will create a 6-minute daily commute to Singapore. Now, that piece of infrastructure creates a real, non-speculative user base. These are people who actually need to live there for work, rather than just speculators hoping for a random price jump. So before you cross the border hunting for a bargain, you have to look past the exchange rate. Run the real numbers. Calculate your total entry and your total exit costs. Ask yourself, is the location actually supported by real economic infrastructure, or are you just buying into a supply-heavy corridor? I'll leave you with this question, and I want you to drop your answer in the comments.
Would you ever buy property in a market where you pay double the tax of a local? Know the numbers, or the numbers will know you. If you found this explainer helpful and want to keep building your analytical skills, hit that subscribe button for more. Catch you next time.